Hey, it's Garbage Brain University. I'm Drew Toothpaste.
I'm Natalie B.
And today we're going to talk about...
dreams. Not like weird ideas you have in your head about starting a food truck. We're talking about the really weird ideas that you have in your head when you're not conscious.
So, Natalie, what are dreams?
A dream is a series of images and emotions that occur in your head involuntarily when you are sleeping.
I mean, that makes... I knew what a dream was before. I just...
You just wanted me to say it. You don't know. We might have some real dumbasses listening right now. But you know what? We're not judging how stupid you are. We're here to give you the information. You don't have to tell anyone you don't know what a dream is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I don't...
Well, you don't have to tell anybody. We'll just tell you what a dream is, and we'll move on.
Okay, we're gonna restart. You can't tell people they're dumb. I knew. I just want to put it on the record. I did know what a dream was. I've had them.
Okay. I've had them before, too.
You know, most of my experience with dreams, I don't know if it's because I'm like a sweat hog or a hot sleeper or...
I like to refer to you as a hot brick.
Yeah, I'm basically...
Like if you had like a brick and it was like left out in the sun for like a really long time and then you carried it inside, that's you.
Yeah. Well, I always thought of that phrase more as like what a cold-blooded animal would get on it to regulate their body temperature.
Yeah. That was,
I am
also, I think that describing you as a brick is like nicer than being like you're like a hot pig.
Yeah,
you're a humid, old, swampy hog. Like I don't think that paints an accurate picture.
You know, the thing is that I just think I always get too hot.
Yeah.
That's like one of my general issues in life. And
I am always freezing cold.
Yeah, it's sort of a yin and yang. That's why we started this podcast.
Uh-huh.
Like Natalie has the information, and then you can listen as she tells me what all of it is.
I have all the information, and you're the informational void.
Yeah. So all my dreams I always have are always mostly disconnected. And I think I told you, I said, Natalie, we should do an episode on dreams because the other night, and I'm breaking one of my rules of life here, which I'll get to later, but I had a dream the other night, and I just want to throw this out there. I never tell anybody about my dreams. I generally don't want to hear about other people's dreams, like, unless I know you really well or unless I was in your dream.
The only thing worse than people telling you what dream they had last night it is when people tell you about what kind of tattoo they want to get.
Do they look at, like, your tattoo and then they tell you a tattoo?
People are always telling me what kind of tattoos they're going to get. That is the most fucking boring shit you could ever tell me in the entire world. Like, I don't have anything to say. Like, all right, shit or get off the pot. I don't want to hear about your tattoo unless it's already, like, in your body.
If somebody got a tattoo and they want to show it off, I'll be like...
Sweet.
Get it out.
Yeah, I want to see it. Let me see it.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to get, like, this totally stupid idea, and I'm going to get it, like, right here on my rib cage, like, on the side, kind of underneath where my boob is, and then it's going to go up around over here and over my shoulder and down around my waist. And there's going to be a bird, and there's going to be some kind of flowers with flower symbolism. I don't give a hot fuck. I do not give a hot fuck. Show me the end result or shut up.
I think a tattoo is a lot like a dream. I think that's a great metaphor because I don't care what a tattoo is supposed to symbolize. It either looks cool or it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's as far as I go. I don't think a dream symbolizes anything.
Yeah, there are people who think that dreams do symbolize stuff, obviously.
I'll tell you about my one, and this is the only dream I'm ever going to tell anybody about in my whole life. I was dreaming I was in a European city, generic European city. I couldn't tell you which one, but imagine a
stereotypical European city.
Yeah. Imagine it. Narrow streets, stone buildings, lots of lines on the road and you don't know what like all the lines mean. But so I had some bread and I was carrying bread from the market
Of course.
in Europe, and I saw a really sweet parking space outside of this big old cathedral. So I went and it's going to get better, I promise. Just listen. This is the worst part. And I set the bread down in the parking space to save the parking space. And I thought, this is not going to work because somebody will just be like, oh, I'm just going to run over that bread. And then I went and I got in my Lamborghini, which I had rented, and I went and I zoomed around and I zoomed it all the way back to the cathedral. And I was like, my bread's still there. My parking space is still there. So I got my bread, I put it in the Lambo, I parked it, I walked right into the cathedral, and I walked in, and Iron Maiden was playing. And I stood there, and I watched Iron Maiden play for I don't know how long, and I woke up. That was it.
That's the fucking dopest dream ever.
That's the only dream I've ever had that's ever made any sense.
Yeah.
And it's the only dream where it was just like, wow. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have those kind of dreams. I don't remember ever having like a dream that was just totally awesome, like, and it was just like linear, and it's like it moved along the path of like a plot, and then it got to the end, and it's like you watched Iron Maiden, and it was fucking tight. The end, like that. I've never had that dream before.
Oh, and it was definitely like Iron Maiden in their prime too.
Of course it was. It wasn't like old Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden unplugged.
Hey, if any producers out there want to make some money, there you go. There's a $1 million idea for you there, buddy. But no, my rule is always, I won't tell you about my dreams. You don't tell me about your dreams. The exception, of course, if I was in your dream and I was being like really charming and funny, or I like helped you out, or I was nice to you, tell me about it. Be like, oh, I fell asleep, and while I was asleep, my brain, which usually thinks my teeth fall out and stuff, it told me that you said thank you to me. Like, tell me about that.
That's very underwhelming.
That would be good, though. That would be nice to hear, and then I could change the subject, and we could talk about something good. Mm-hmm. Generally, my rule is, if you're not Martin Luther King, I don't want to hear about your dream.
Yeah, that's the rule. I will tell you about my dream if it was very especially weird, but also I think that you're like in the minority of people who I talk to, where I talk to you so constantly that I kind of need something to mention while we're sitting around. So I apologize for that.
If I don't know somebody that well and they tell me their dream, it's always like they're recounting an episode of a TV series where I've never seen any of the other episodes. So they have to kind of explain to me who the characters are, and then it's just, there's no point, right?
Yeah, it's boring.
Like, I had to be there, and I wasn't in that dream.
It was very boring, yeah. So, okay, how many times do you think you have a dream a night?
Personally? Mm-hmm. I mean, probably a couple times, but most of the time it's just not anything that even sticks, right?
Yeah. So, on average, somebody would have 3 to 5 dreams a night.
So what is a dream defined as, then, in that sense?
I think it just is... So, you only dream, really, when you're in, like, the REM stage of sleep.
Right.
And so I think they measure dreams by how many times you would enter into the REM stage. But you don't only dream in the REM stages. You could also dream in the other stages. The REM dreams you have are the ones that have, like, that are really clearly defined, and you can, like, you recognize them as being dreams.
Right.
And you are way, way, way more likely to remember dreams that you had in the REM phase also.
Okay. So if I don't remember my dreams, and I don't have dreams that have any kind of clear boundaries, and it doesn't even quite seem like I'm dreaming, does that seem like I'm not having very good sleep then?
No, I think that you're probably just a person who doesn't have, like, good recall with their dreams. Because that is a thing also. 60% of the population doesn't remember their dreams at all.
So I am pretty normal.
Yeah. And also, if you do not dream, it fucks you up.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So what would cause you to not dream?
From what I understand is it mostly happens if you get a brain injury. Although there might be other reasons, I just was not able to find it in my very brief researching of this shit. So your brain gets fucked up somehow, probably by injuring it. And it makes it so you don't dream when you sleep, and it makes you just have all kinds of problems. So you will get like... If you do not get into REM sleep and you do not have dreams, you will get signs of psychosis and you will start getting hallucinations, and then you will get irritable and disoriented.
Wow.
So it fucks up some fundamental shit with your brain. Also, what they say is what's going on when you're dreaming is that your brain is like processing shit and like processing memories and doing all this other stuff. And so like if your brain is not ever able to enter into that, it's like opening too many windows on your computer or something, I suppose.
You get the spinning wheel.
Yeah. So it's just like having like way too many windows open, and you're like downloading shit on every one of them.
Got a bunch of BitTorrent, got a pop-up for Bitcoin.
Yeah. All that's what it sounds like happens to me. That's my layman's terms as someone who hardly understands it.
So the idea, as I understand it, is that the brain consolidating what you've done into episodic memory, right? Your brain's process of consolidating your knowledge into episodic memory happens by chucking out. Your brain actively discards many of the things you did during the day, which is why if you think back and you say, what did I do in 2007? Like day to day, what did I have for lunch most days? Like I truly have no idea. What did I have for lunch in 2007? I don't know. What did I have for lunch 2 weeks ago? I don't know, right? It was normal enough that my brain threw it out. My brain just said, this is non-essential.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I went and I had dinner and it was this fancy place downtown, and I got this appetizer and it was like liver and stuff. And it smelled like my dog I had at the time. It smelled like my dog's face. And it was like $11 or so. It was stupid. It was really, and I ate it. I was like, this tastes like the dog's face. This is not, but see, I consolidated that memory because I was sleeping. My brain's like, okay, you're red, you're mad, your teeth are falling out, you're fighting with somebody, you ate that nasty ass app, bro. And I held on to that. Nothing else. I don't know what I did that day. How can you know what you did on any particular day? So the dreams... So you're saying you think the dreams might be a symptom of your brain packing all your memories in and kind of reorienting and clearing out all the crap, huh?
Kind of. That's what it sounds like.
Closing all of its BitTorrents for the day.
So you mentioned that you have dreams where they are like really aggressive.
Oh, yeah. All the time. Yeah.
Apparently that is like a thing with dudes.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. That's like nut rage.
Nut rage?
That's just, yeah.
Tell me about nut rage.
It's just, the nuts are the source of many of man's problems as a gender, and nut rage is just one of them. Have you ever heard somebody say, man, he's off his nut? That's nut rage. Okay. You've heard of the candy bar?
I have heard of the candy bar, yeah.
That's right, nutrageous. It's meant to give you the sensation of just going completely wild in your dream.
Oh, so that's what you do in your dream, is you, like, get all your nut rage out.
I'm about to unwrap a long candy bar on you, bro. That's right. Yeah. No, because I'm not. I was just explaining pacifism to my daughter earlier today and saying, I don't like to kiss the flag because I don't like war and all this. And, if your teacher told you had to shoot somebody, what would you do? And like, but that's like nut rage, right? Is that during my waking life, I'm a pretty peaceful person. I'm pretty easygoing. Mm-hmm. As a young man, I think, like many young men, I had nut rage.
All right, so dudes in general will have more dreams that are outside, and they will have dreams that are more action-oriented.
Oh, yeah.
Their dreams are also more aggressive and involve strangers more often.
Yeah, that's a central component.
So you just, like, have dude dreams.
All my dreams are, like, really shitty action movies. I'm outside, there's strangers, and there's action, baby.
I never have dreams like that. You know what? Like, one of my most common dreams I have is, where did I leave my car? I will have...
That's outside.
Yeah, but it's like not much action. It's just like me walking around and looking like all the parking spots and then like trying to find out where it is. And if the dream goes on for too long, then I start walking home.
You give up and you just start walking home.
Yes, but it's always like really far, and so it's like very boring.
So your dream is just you walking like 11 miles?
Yeah, looking for my car, being like stressed out, like where's my car? Sometimes the car dream ends with me going through the parking lot, and then I will find a car that someone hit or like beat up somehow, and it's like so banged up that I didn't recognize that it was my car when I walked by it the first time.
Oh no.
And that one's also stressful. I'm like, oh, now my car's fucked up.
Yeah, that's pretty... It's like there was implied action, but there was not actual...
No, I didn't do anything, really, no.
You didn't do anything.
No, I didn't do anything in that one.
So women's dreams are inside and deal with people they know.
And emotional dreams.
And they're more emotional.
I don't really have emotional dreams, I don't think.
What is an emotion?
I don't know. Like when you're like, something happens and it's like bad for you, and then you're like, oh.
No. Faithful listeners. Now you know. So we talked about symbolism in dreams. You said people believe that there is symbolism in dreams. So your dream where you're looking for something, you can't find it, of course, that's something where that's like a worry you have because it's happened before. If it's happened in everybody's life where they can't find their car, or they can't find their wallet or their phone or their keys, whatever, there's like a panic and an emotion that your brain fixates on, for sure. Is that supposedly symbolizing something? Again, I'm not sure that I believe in that, but
I don't know. You should look and see if there's an online dream dictionary. We should start looking this shit up while we're talking about it. I'm sure there's probably like Dream Google.
Here are common dreams: chase dreams, cheating dreams, death dreams, falling, flying, naked, snake, teeth, and test dreams. I have never had a snake dream, I don't think.
No, I've never had a snake dream.
Flying dream, I am pretty sure I've never had a dream where I was flying.
I've had flying dreams.
Flying dreams fall under a category of dreams known as lucid dreams, according to dreammoods.com, which appears to be the first search result on Google. So you tell me if they know what they're talking about. I think they do. And when you analyze your flying dream, you're supposed to look into what direction you're flying and how high up you are and how fast you're going. Of course, lucid dreams being the idea that you can fall asleep and have a dream, but then you can be conscious and you can control the dream and you can control your experience that your own mind is giving the other part of your mind that perceives things. There are people that claim to be able to control their dreams and control, wow, I can go fly around, I can do all this stuff in my dreams. I don't know if I'm a spoil sport. I don't care. I just want to be asleep, and then I want to wake up and I want to feel better.
I wonder if that's I wonder if lucid dreaming is as restorative as regular sleeping.
Probably not. I'm not a sleep scientist, or the Greeks would have called it a sleepologist.
Doctor Sleepologist.
What was the theme we were going to try to look up?
Finding something that is lost.
Lost.
Like a car.
Car. There's actually car dream. Again, this is from dreammoods.com. and I'm not gonna vouch for if it's good or not because it has an ad for overalls on the side of it. And I think, anyway, they say your dream car is representative of your drive and ambition.
It's usually my actual car. It's always exactly the same car I drive all the time.
So your drive and ambition is just a beat up version of your regular car.
It's not beat. It's like a...
If you, Natalie, if you are in your dream, okay, so you've never found your car, but let's say that you were to use the accelerator
I think
in
if
your
you scroll
dream
down,
car.
there's like a whole dictionary of all the things that can relate to it. I bet you that.
Oh, no, you're right. Accelerator's just the first alphabetically.
Yes.
I thought it was the
We're
most
not going to
important.
read through all the way until it. Just look up, where is my car? It's lost. Missing.
Oh, to see or... This is me! To see or drive a Lamborghini in your dream suggests you are moving too quickly in some area of your life. And listen to this. You are living life in the fast lane, which is a maiden song.
Perfect.
I see nothing about lost car. I see parking structure, carjack. If you are carjacked, it says, see, I think they just made this up. I think they're making all this up.
Yeah.
This is just, this
It's a
is
reach.
not fake shit university. I don't have that much good knowledge in my head. Like, I just have stuff like the pizza bagel song from the pizza bagel commercial. That's all. It's just garbage I've accumulated.
Well, your brain thinks that you need that.
Oh, yeah, my brain is like, now that is important. That's still good. Don't throw that out.
So, people have been doing that dream analysis shit forever. They have found writings from ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia, analyzing their dreams back in 3100 BC.
To them, that was like TV.
Yeah.
There was no way they would know that it wasn't real.
Yeah. Well, back then, people thought that your soul would leave your body. It would actually travel around and visit the places and people that you were having dreams about.
Oh, okay. So it was like astral.
Yeah. They thought it was some kind of astral projection thing. And so they were like very like serious about it. Which I don't, man, fucking stupid dreams I have. There's no way I would ever believe it was any kind of like projection going on.
I want to close my eyes and I want to travel through space and time to the Tuttle Crossing parking lot outside of Von Mar. And that used to be Ruby Tuesdays.
But I guess back then, like, that was like, there wasn't anything. So anywhere you would go was always going to be like a clay building.
Have you ever seen the Bible, but the good one where they put the pictures in it? It was shit like that. It all looked like that.
Yeah. All of those pictures in those books, they were just like standing around in the dirt.
Yeah, it was basically like King of the Hill with robes.
Yeah. Maybe it was easier to like, even going somewhere fantastic or going somewhere mundane, it was basically going to look roughly the same anyway.
In the Sumerians, I'm sure with a lack of sensory input from like books and media and, the news and videos and all this cool stuff we have, I think with a lack of sensory input of that kind of stuff, their dreams were probably like a lot more mundane too.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I went over to Todd's house and my man had a forked stick. And I asked him, upon whom cast the branch in this stick? And he said, unto me. It was all shit like that. It's like, whoa. And he wakes up and he's talking to his wife, Brenda, and he's like, Brenda, I had this fucking dream. And she's like, well, what happened? And he's like, okay.
Well, Todd had the stick.
I went over to Todd's and he had this forked stick.
Oh, no.
I can't imagine. And they didn't have anything else. They didn't have anything else to talk about. They barely even had politics.
Yeah. So even like the Egyptians also did that shit. Naturally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know the Egyptians were about it.
They thought that dreams were like oracles sent from the gods.
Well, the Egyptians were cool. I'm sure there were bad parts of Egypt. I don't mean like bad neighborhoods. I mean like societally. I'm sure it wasn't totally equitable for everybody.
Yeah.
But like all the mystical stuff, that was pretty cool.
All the like making the triangles. Put on eyeliner. So they were about it also, naturally. And that was kind of when people started being fixated on it. In the 3rd century, there was a priest who tried to argue that the existence of dreams, like having dreams while your body is motionless, was proof that the soul was independent of the body. And so he tried to use it as an argument for an afterlife or whatever.
And that was in the 3rd century?
Mm-hmm. His name was Tertullian. But he was making some noise. Talking about that stuff. I think back then, like, anyone who, like, was able to come up with any kind of scheme and then put it onto a piece of paper or whatever the fuck they wrote on, anyone who did that, it was, like, automatically king shit of fuck yeah.
Tertullian the priest. Upon hearing your report, we have decided to distinguish you with the honor of king shit of fuck yeah.
He obviously proved that he was like way smarter than fucking everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And that was, so 3rd century, that's like the year 200, right? So that was like 10 times longer. It was 10 times longer ago than right now. And the thing is so the year 200-ish, so what, 200 to 299, right? I don't remember if it ends at 299 or 300, but look, it was 10 times long ago, okay? There were still, and here's the thing, and I didn't figure this out. I figured this out like 3 years ago. Okay, you guys are probably listening, oh, these guys are really smart. No. I figured this...
No, we are not.
I figured this out about 3 or 4 years ago. You've heard of the Roman Empire, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
I only figured out about 3 or 4 years ago. All those guys and their whole thing. Caligula, I don't remember all of his details, but he was a nasty guy, right? And Julius Caesar, or they call him Kaiser in Fallout. These were all the Romans. And it turns out they are just extremely old Italians.
Yep.
I did not know that. I had never thought about it, and I just assumed it was like just this whole separate thing, but it's Rome in Italy.
It's true. Did you know that people have even had inventions that were influenced by dreams that they had?
No, like what?
Like Google.
How do you dream of Google?
I don't know.
Ask
the guy who made Google.
So Sergey Brin and Larry Page.
I think it was Larry Page.
Larry Page. The inventors of Google were having a little nap one day, and they were having nut rage.
I think dreaming of a search engine is probably the opposite of nut rage.
I mean, the dream must have been very abstract. Also, before Google, there were search engines. So, like, Larry Page just probably fell asleep.
And dreamt of Ask Jeeves.
He just spent...
Only the logo looked weird.
He spent all day on As Jeeves. He was dreaming about it. He got the Tetris effect with Jeeves. Oh, this looks like something a toddler would shove a bunch of shapes into.
Also, the alternating current generator.
Really?
Apparently, Tesla thought of that in a dream.
No, that had to have been a really weird dream. Where he was like, okay, and I don't know how an alternating current generator even works, so I guess he was on another level. He was on some other shit.
He
was definitely in the REM stage.
I definitely never have had any dreams like that. Apparently the DNA double helix model, the guy who came up with that.
Crick and Watson.
One of those guys.
I think one of them was a lady, Rosalind Watson, right?
Sure.
Well, I don't know which one dreamed of DNA. If you think about it, we all dream about DNA. It's the code of nature, and it's within us all.
The guy who invented the sewing machine invented that.
Who is that?
I don't know. Look it up. I forgot to write it down.
The first working sewing machine was generally considered to have been the work of Englishman Thomas Saint in 1790. There's a name. That'd be like if your name was Natalie Christ.
That would be pretty sweet. But he had a dream, and in the dream he saw like the needle with the hooky thing at the end. He put it through, and the sewing needle.
And in a sewing machine, there's a second little mechanism underneath that loops the thread up, right? Mm-hmm. So he dreamt about that. I bet his dream was not just a sewing machine. I bet his dream was like he was trying to sew, and his neighbor came over and was helping him. And his neighbor was like looping the thread up from below. And he was like, wow, and his neighbor's like Todd or something. So he's like, Todd, you're a real sewing machine. And then he woke up and he was like, wait.
What the fuck?
I'm going to call this thing a Todd.
Sewing Todd. Did you know that you usually can't read or tell time in your dreams?
Why is that?
I'm not sure.
It seems right just thinking about it. Yeah, I didn't know that.
A common dream I have, not a dream, but like something that pops up in my dreams fairly often, is having to call somebody and I can't type the phone numbers into the phone because it's like I will always type them in wrong. Probably has to do with that.
So your brain is generating this idea that you're doing this, but at the same time you're unable to perform any of those tasks. Mm-hmm. Probably the part of your brain that would be responsible for that is just not awake at that time.
Yeah.
Because when you go to sleep, some part of your brain has to go to sleep, right? Otherwise, you'd be awake. Look, we've done a lot of really rigorous research.
We have. Did you know that your brain is more active when you are dreaming than when you are awake?
No, I didn't.
Think about that. One thing that I saw mentioned in many of the thingies I read today was that you can't see faces in dreams that you haven't seen before in real life.
So your brain cannot synthesize a new face. Mm-hmm. So whenever you dream, you're just kind of dreaming combinations of faces you have already stored. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Also, but that kind of there's like
you
certain
can't
things.
Read, you can't tell time.
Yeah.
I bet it's hard to do math.
Yeah,
I bet it's hard to play Scrabble.
Probably. I often have dreams about being like extremely late to shit.
Yeah.
Or getting to some kind of thing and I'm dressed very inappropriately. Like I have like a t-shirt on and I forgot to put pants on or something.
But just inappropriate. I don't think I've ever had a naked dream. This site, I don't believe this site. I think like a kid wrote this site. I think, because I clicked on it and it's like, have you ever had a dream where you peed at school? I think a child wrote this. Have you ever had a dream where your parents are mad at you? Yeah, but, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. You've never had a naked dream?
Not that I can remember, no.
I've definitely had dreams where I didn't have clothes on. But no one else seemed to notice, so I was like, whatever.
It was just you, in the overall essence of it was that you just forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoops.
Just beeping around on your phone, and you walk out the door and you got your keys, and it happens to all of us.
Yeah. From what I read, it seems like people have sex dreams a lot. I don't have sex dreams a lot.
I seldom have them.
I did read, however, that dudes will get up to 20 boners while they're sleeping every night.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot to me, but I don't get boners, so I don't know like how.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like sex dream stuff. Because I don't remember having like a ton of sex dreams. And whenever I do, it's never like good.
I never have had sex dreams that like actually went all the way.
Yeah.
I've had like outer course dreams. But I don't believe that I've ever had like a full on doing it all the way dream. And because there's a common character in my dreams when I have sex dreams that is a cock blocker.
So like a common frustration is that there's somebody that's keeping you from getting that nut.
It doesn't happen very often though, because I don't even have sex dreams like hardly ever. And they're, like I said, they're always like outer course dreams, which is like, who gives a shit?
I would remember if I ever had a sex dream that was good. It's just always...
It's always underwhelming. I'm in it for the weird ones, though. I do enjoy the weird ones. So, did you know that if you are a blind person and you lost your sight during the course of your life, when you have dreams, you still will see in your dreams?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But if you were born without sight, then your dreams are just all the other senses except for that.
Yeah, that makes sense because your brain has never had any sensory input, right?
Yeah.
Not from your eyes.
I thought that was. I mean, it does make sense, but I think it's a common thing that people wonder about, probably.
Yeah.
12% of people don't even dream in color. They only dream in black and white. And I read something that said that if you were a kid who grew up when TV was in black and white, you'd be more likely to dream in black and white.
How do you know if you're dreaming in black and white?
I definitely do not dream in black and white. I've had some pretty graphic dreams.
I am pretty sure that I don't dream in black and white, but how would you know? Is that a dumb question?
I mean...
Like, I guess you would wake up and you'd be like, oh, wow, another black and white dream, just like when I was a child. I mean, to answer the question of do you dream in black and white, I guess you would have had to known, and you would wake up and you'd be like, wow, the world is in color. I was just having a black and white dream. Mm-hmm. I mean, did kids in the 1800s dream in radio?
No, probably not.
Just... Before television, you'd have a dream.
I think the implication is that the kids were receiving a lot of sensory input from black and white. Like they were getting a lot of black and white files entered into their database.
Before that, you would be listening to the radio, and it'd be like, you would go to sleep, and then there would just be an announcer, and he'd be like, now there's a man coming into your house, and you don't know who he is. Don't you want to get that nut rage and just swing on him? Give him a good clocker. And prior to that, you'd have telegram dreams where it'd be like, doop, 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 your teeth are falling out, stop.
Getting a caloric restriction going, like if you cut your calories back real far.
Yeah.
Apparently that it results in a sharp decrease in the amount of sex dreams you have.
So you think maybe I don't have many sex dreams because I'm always on that diet tip?
Maybe.
But I've been kind of overeating lately. But I still don't.
Well, you had that cool dream about Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's like...
That's not like a sex dream, but it's like better than most dreams. I think maybe you're working up to it.
Boy, if I keep eating heavy, I might get one. Might be all nut and no rage.
So So the most common emotion, though, in dreams is not rage.
Really?
Do you want to do a mini quiz? You get two guesses. 2 guesses. Can you do it?
I get 2 guesses for the most common emotion in dreams. Sad.
No.
There are so many emotions, Natalie.
That's why I'm giving you 2 chances.
There's like thousands of emotions.
There's like a lot of obscure ones. Like, it's not like disappointed.
That's not even. That's like a second tier emotion. That's like you get your top tiers like happy, sad, angry, and then you have like disappointed, fulfilled, energized, right? The emotions that people feel in dreams, I don't know. People apparently fly around in their dreams and they're naked and they have sex in their dreams. I'm completely alienated from the populace here in their dreams. Mm-hmm. Probably confused. I'm going to go with confused.
It's anxiety.
So they're anxious. Okay. Yeah. I buy that. I completely buy that. Yeah.
I think that, there's a lot of anxiety. So the one thing that I have recurring dreams about, and it is an anxiety dream for me, is E.T.
The extraterrestrial?
Yeah. I have like complicated emotions about E.T. And like all of them are negative.
How often do you... So overall, not just in your dreams, but how often do you think that you think about E.T.?
Not a lot. Not like when I'm awake. But when I was like younger, when I was a kid, I did all the time. I was like terrified of him. And like once I got to an age where I'm like kind of a stupid thing to do is be afraid of an imaginary alien from a movie. Like, but I would still like have dreams about him.
Yeah, of course, because it probably traumatized you.
Yeah, I did not like E.T. So I have E.T. dreams, like not a lot now. Like when they've tapered off a little bit. But they're always like anxiety dreams.
So your dreams about E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the movie that came out in 1982, those have tapered off somewhat in the past 37 years is what you're saying?
Yeah. So, like, the most recent one I had was arguably, like, the best one.
Okay.
I get to tell you about the dream I had now.
Please do.
Let me readjust myself here. So I had this dream, right, that I was driving somewhere, only I was a passenger in this car, and we were driving somewhere. I don't remember where we were going. I was in the back seat, though. I was not in the front seat. And I was talking to the person who was driving, and I heard something weird coming from the front seat. And I looked up in between, like, the little gap in between the two seats. Yeah. I leaned up and looked up, and E.T. was in the front side passenger seat. It was fucking E.T. And so what I did was I flew into the front seat and I beat his ass. I just beat the ever-loving shit out of him.
Just like with with your fists.
With my fists. Unprovoked.
So you just straight up murked E.T.
Yeah, I beat him down. That shit wasn't going to be happening in my car.
It wasn't even your car. You were a passenger.
I was a passenger. But I was not down with it. Whooped his ass, like...
And that's it? That's all you remember?
Yeah. I think that was it. I think that beating his ass like stressed me out enough that I woke up.
If you ever write a memoir, I think the title should be I Beat E.T.'s Ass. And then in parentheses, it should say, with my fist, and then parentheses, the extraterrestrial.
That was a good one, though.
And you like Reese's Pieces. So that's a conundrum.
Yeah. I think I got taken to that movie too young. I was very much way too young to see that movie when I saw it. I was like not even 2 probably.
No, it was not for little kids.
And I was definitely like 2 or 3 when my mom took me to see it. She also, this is one of my favorite anecdotes about my mother, because E.T. went over so well. She took me to see Alien. Because she assumed they were going to be the same thing.
Oh, no!
It was like it was either the second Alien movie or it was like some drive-in showing of the first one. I don't remember. It might have been the first one. I'm pretty sure it's the first one.
So,
going through my mental file of trauma, I'm pretty sure it was the first one.
After you were traumatized, the cute movie with the alien who eats Reese's Pieces, and his finger glows, and he touches his finger, and he says, I want to call, or I want to phone home, is what he says. After you were traumatized by that, your mom was like, hey, the bald head lady and the alien whose other alien comes out of his mouth. Like, that's what's up.
Yeah. So I have alien anxiety. So I will have, when I have nightmares, it's oftentimes like that kind of shit. Well, do you have like any kind of irrational anxiety dreams about stuff that is like recurring? Like E.T.
I think all my dreams have to do with anxiety. And then, like, it's my dream. Like, in the real world, I would deal with my anxiety and I would be like, okay, like, what is a practical solution to this problem? I'm having a problem. What's the practical solution, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, mostly my dreams that are anxiety are just, like, again, I don't really remember them, but it always seems like the only tool I have at my disposal when I'm in my dreams, and it's probably because I can't read. So I cannot get online and ask Jeeves and be like, hey, I'm stressed out. There's a guy I don't know and he's in my living room, right? Mm-hmm. So I can't find any solutions. I just have to, like, murk him or whatever. And it's usually like, and there's anxiety in my dreams because it's like, and I'm not a fighter. I don't get in fist fights with people, but always in my dreams. Think about this. In real life, not in my dream, but actually in the real corporeal world, I'm laying in my bed and my eyes are closed, which is not a good way to set up for a fight.
No.
And I'm probably like sweating and stuff, and I'm probably going, rah, rah, rah. You know, like when you hear somebody and they're like, rah, 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 and they talk, but like they can't really make their mouth move the right way because they're dreaming and stuff. See, I'm doing that in real life, but then in the dream, I'm like setting up. I'm like, yeah, he's over here, and he's like this height. I need to like set up so I can pop him, and then I hit him with the number 2, right? Like the 1-2. Like the old Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah, just knock him. Yeah.
Motherfucker, I'm gonna do you like Natalie did E.T.
I creamed him. I don't usually have dreams that are real violent like that. So that was part. I think that's the part of the reason that dream was so memorable to me. That's not a common thing that happens in my dream.
Yeah, step into my world.
Yeah, I don't get nut rage. I have had before. Have you ever taken like any kind of prescriptions or anything like that fucked your dreams up?
Yes, I have.
So, nicotine patches, melatonin, endocrine drugs, blood pressure medications, neurological drugs, like all of those kinds of stuff can affect your dreams and how frequently you get them and how vivid they are.
Yeah, I would believe that.
I've had like fucked up dreams when I've been sick and had been on prescriptions and stuff, like certain stuff that would just like trip me out.
Like a fever dream, but like for not having a fever dream.
Like, they were, like, very, like, extremely vivid. I don't really have dreams that are, like, really super gory, and I would just get dreams that were, like, insanely gory.
Oh, yeah?
I had this one dream, and I don't remember what was happening in it, but I just remember that there was a dude in the dream, and he stuck all of his fingers in his mouth, like, and, like, just put all 4 of his fingers in his mouth, and then he bit down on his fingers, and pulled his fingers out, and, like, stripped the skin and meat off of his fingers into his mouth.
Yeah.
And then he chewed it up, and spit it in his hand. And then rubbed it through his hand like hair gel and, like, styled his hair with it.
Oh, my God. That's
horrible. What the fuck was that shit?
That's horrifying. Is that when you took Flonase before bed?
Something like that. It was something like that. I can't take some shit right before bed because it will give me, like, dreams that are so insanely fucked up that I just can't deal with it.
No, I like taking that melatonin because they basically admit... they admit it's a placebo, but you said melatonin gives you more vivid dreams. Mm-hmm. It says all over it, it's like, this is not a drug. And then they're like, to be used short term. Well, which is it? If it's not a drug, then don't put it in a pill.
What is the definition of a drug?
I'd say I'm no scientist.
But you're a scientist, though.
I'm theoretically a scientist, yeah. I think a drug is any time you take a pill that messes up your dreams, that would be a drug.
There's a very good drug. Like, I'm just saying, not good drug. Like, let's do it. But there is one that is pretty fucked. It's called dimethyltryptamine.
Oh, DMT.
But that is basically an isolated synthetic form of the chemical that your brain produces naturally when it's dreaming.
Oh, does it really? While you're dreaming?
It trips your brain that all fucked up.
Oh, yeah. You should not do that, though.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I heard you can get mimosa.
That's like when you go to brunch. A mimosa.
No, it's Mimosa hostilis root branch, something like that. You Google it up on the dark web and you get it, and then you get buckets, and you, like, melt it and stuff, and you stir it up, and you put a bunch of stuff with it, and then you take it, and then you can get DMT. But if you ask me, I would just rather go to sleep.
It's free. It's free DMT.
It's free, and it's a lot faster, and instead of spending your whole day out in your driveway and your neighbor's like, hey there, what are you doing? You're like, I'm making a drug that I looked up. I looked it up on the dark web, and here's what I'm going to do.
Just making some drugs.
I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah. So that's a drug. That affects your dreams.
We're actually recommending you don't do it. There are recreational.
Just smoke weed.
Yeah.
It's fine. Let's have a quiz.
Yeah, let's have
a quiz. Let's have a quiz.
That's awful. I'm sorry. I think you should work on that a little bit. I'm very sorry. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
No, I'm going to be real with you. I totally improvised the song. I totally improvised it, but...
So you didn't write that beforehand. That was totally... You're like Martin Luther King off the dome.
I improvised it.
And that was pretty...
Right.
Yeah.
And the way the song went was because I was reading your face and I was trying to make you make that face. Because you look so stressed out when I hit that first note. I was like, no, I gotta keep it there.
I don't know if I was stressed out. It was an emotion, though.
Yep. And art is supposed to make you feel emotion, right?
Yeah, I didn't say
that was art.
I didn't say it wasn't art. I just said, maybe go back for a second take on that one.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna have a quiz. The quiz is this. You have to guess All of the causes of nightmares.
All of the causes of nightmares?
5 of them. I will give you 5 guesses.
Okay. And just see...
And there's 5 options.
And just see how many I get.
See
That's
how
good.
many you land.
Work. That's number 1. Look, we all have to perform labor for capital and...
No.
I thought that would be like a given. Okay. So work is not a cause of nightmares. Well, that's new to me. Mm-hmm. Worrying? I mean...
Yes. Ding.
You have a belt... Why... Why did you say ding? You have a little... So... Worrying is a cause of...
Stress, conflict, and fear is one of the...
Stress, conflict, and fear. So I got 3 of them.
You just got one of them, but that's just...
Because the most common dream emotion is anxiety. Mm-hmm. So you have stress and it gives you an anxiety dream. Mm-hmm. Trauma or a traumatic...
Like that one time I was on the boat.
Yeah,
And then I had the dreams about how much I fucking hated that boat.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't listened to our first episode...
See, you would have some inside jokes right now if you'd listened to it.
Yeah.
How about that? Think about that one.
Yeah, I should have listened to it. So maybe you have a dream, a nightmare about what is going on right now in the present. No. A cause of nightmare, maybe something about your body going wrong. Whoa.
Illness.
Oh, illness, right? Illness.
Like having fever dreams and stuff.
Probably being hot. I get nightmares all the time because I am a hot brick.
Yes, you are.
But that's not.
No.
What are the other 2 I missed? I missed 2.
You lost.
I'm out of guesses. What are the other 2 that I missed?
Emotional problems and medication or drug use.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about it. I thought that was a freebie.
Yeah, I should have gotten that one. That melatonin. Mm-hmm. Gone off those placebo pills.
Did you know that you forget 90% of dreams you have within 10 minutes of waking up?
Oh, I believe it, yeah. So why is that? Is it just because the whole thing with the dreams is that your brain is like trying to work... It's like trying to defrag your memory or something while you're sleeping. And then when you wake up, it's like not really doesn't really want to cram that dream back into your hard drive.
Yeah, it's just like a garbage file and they just get rid of it.
I just imagine, think about that. Think about Warren Buffett, old 85-year-old wrinkled ass McDonald's eating motherfucker. And every night he goes to sleep and he finds no peace because he's fallen. His old 85-year-old ass is out there in the wind because he's unprepared because he's naked. Yeah, well, his life's probably not great. It doesn't sound that great. I mean, he goes to...
This imaginary life you just invented.
Well, that's his dream. His dreams are bad, but his real life is driving a Buick around and stuff. Driving a Buick around, telling other people to be rich, man, that's a bummer. That sounds awful.
What an indignity that was thrust upon himself.
Life is hard if you're a billionaire, right?
What do you think about people having dreams about things that haven't happened and then they happen?
Sort of like Nostradamus dreams, right?
Precognition, right.
So you cognitize before it prees. I think that it's a little bit more than coincidence. I think some of it is coincidence, but here's what I think. There's something that the brain does, which is that it synthesizes information. And really, the conscious processes of our brain are not everything we have access to, right? As a matter of fact, when you talk so fast that you're not consciously talking. You can kind of guide what you're doing, right? But it's kind of like steering a fire hose but you're gripping onto the fire hose from about 5 feet back. Like, it's kind of going to go where it wants. You can sort of guide it to one thing or another, but it's going to kind of flop around and go where it wants based on your unconscious mind. And so, have you ever met somebody or not even formally met somebody, but you've seen somebody and you've just gotten the vibe that there's something off about them. They're just not trustworthy. And you start looking at them and you're like, well, they look normal. I'm being weird or whatever. But you get a vibe like there's something wrong with them.
It's like a subconscious thing with the way they act.
Right. And I think that your brain can do that sometimes about predictions. You might make a prediction that, hey, your business is going to go a certain way. Something is going to happen with somebody right? And I think that it's totally possible for your brain to put these things together. And since it's your subconscious mind, I think it's totally possible for these things to get put together while you're sleeping, and you wake up and you are like, wow, I had the weirdest dream. And it turns out to come true, but you have had all of the facts that have led up to this event happening, and your subconscious mind saw it before you were really cognizant of what was about to happen. I think that's totally plausible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I'm sure that the Sumerians or Egyptians had other explanations for that, or even the very ancient Italians known as Romans.
So I got conflicting percentages. Between 18 and 38% of people have experienced precognitive dreams.
I have had dreams where later what I have dreamt has happened, but it's been so trivial that it's not even been worth mentioning. Have you ever gone somewhere and you've never been there before, and you'll walk into, I feel like one time I went and I got a new doctor or something like that, and I go into this doctor's office and I walked in and I was like, oh yeah, seen this in my dream.
That's like deja vu though, isn't it?
Oh, is that different?
I don't know.
I mean, I've had precognition in dreams where I've thought about things and I was like, oh, that's a dream, but then it came true. But then it was like, well, I kind of knew anyway.
I had a really weird experience with that when I was younger once. And I was working, at the time, I was working at the library. And I had this dream one night that I was in my car. My car was completely covered with children, like trying to get into my car. Yeah. And like shaking my car and like just hanging off the sides like a horror movie or something. And it was like within a week. I was leaving work and there was all these kids hanging out outside.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, will you go buy us some cigarettes? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, come on, buy us some cigarettes. I'm like, no, I'm not. We're not even near the store. I'm not going on a special trip to buy cigarettes for children. No. And I got in my car. And then all the kids swarmed my car, and they were all, like, banging on the windows of my car, just like in my fucking dream.
Wow. That is really specific,
yeah,
too.
It was really specific, and it was really creepy, yeah.
Do you think it was a coincidence, or do you think you think you had seen the kids, and your brain is like, yeah, but what if they go and they do riot on your car?
I mean, it would have to be a coincidence, because it was, like, not consequential at all. Like, why would my brain, like, feel like it needed to be forewarned about that one?
Well, what did you do in real life? What did you do when they did that? Did you just...
I started my car and they go...
Oh, just when you started your car,
I started my car and I shifted it into gear and they all moved.
That's how you could tell it happened a long time ago. Because now kids would want, like...
Jewel pods.
Yeah, they would... They would want the illegal mango jewel pods.
Yeah. And, I mean, they'd probably just order this online somehow. They would have to be out there networking like we had to.
You little shits getting on Snapchat and buying illegal fruit nicotine. What the fuck is this?
There's been like a lot of people who have had like precognitive dreams. I'm talking about like people who like had horrible stuff happen to them.
Oh, like who?
Like Abraham Lincoln.
What was his dream about?
He dreamt about getting assassinated.
Oh, well, that came true.
Yeah, like right before he did it. Like right before the other guy did it, I suppose. But
so
like a few days before, he had a dream that he got assassinated.
What was it? What was the dream like?
He dreamed that he went and got assassinated somewhere. There wasn't any specific details. It just said he dreamed of it.
Yeah, because he was probably like 7 minutes ago. I had a dream. And Mary Todd was like, shut the fuck up.
that.
I think that's probably going to wrap it up for us today on the subject of dreams. If you haven't already, go to garbagebrainuniversity.com and subscribe to Garbage Brain University. It's what you're listening to right now, but listen, you'll get a newsletter. You can choose to pay, and then you're going to hear our premium episodes. And also, we'd like to thank Substack. It's at substack.com. They provided the infrastructure for our newsletter and podcast. And we want to thank the Melvins for our theme song. It's called Electric Flower, and it's used with permission.
Yes, because you should always get permission.
Hey, thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Good night.